Hello, Coach Erin here. I'm going to move you through a very quick but effective yoga class for you if you are trying to increase your rib mobility. This is really important because if you have tight ribs and your rib cage becomes like an actual cage, it's not mobile, this will affect your breathing. It kind of moves you up into a short, shallow breathing pattern. So it can keep you kind of here, breathing with your neck and shoulders, not using your diaphragm for breathing. So I'm going to coach a lot of breath work in this mobility for your ribs, because at the end of the day, if we can get your breathing diaphragm to be contracting, lowering on the inhale, and on the exhale rising up, so moving in the proper pattern, that's going to open up your ribs too. This is going to go twofold. We want to be breathing correctly in a way that actually increases our rib mobility, but we also can add in these gentle stretches to help us get a little more movement there as well. You want your ribs to be able to flow freely and have a nice amount of mobility. Not too much, but a good amount. I find most people are a little sticky here. So let's begin with breathing. Find a comfortable place to sit, hang out. Make sure you have room around you that you can stretch. This is not going to be anything too intense. We need to ease into this. But as always, listen to your body. Not every exercise is for every body. So I want you to be mindful, and if it hurts, if it doesn't feel right, then it's not right for you today, and that's okay. You can always come back to the breath. So go ahead and put your hands on your ribs if you're able to. The fingertips will be on the front ribs, and my thumbs will be on the back here, at the back of my ribs, because your ribs go all the way around you. Close your eyes to decrease any distraction, and start to breathe through the nose. One of my first tips for good breathing mechanic is to breathe through the nose. Nasal breathing is king. That's where we want to be initiating our breath. So notice if you slip into a mouth breathing pattern, that's going to make you breathe a little more shallow. You want to bring your breath back to that nasal breathing pattern throughout the day. If you're over breathing in exercise as well, unless you're at a high intensity of exercise, you should be breathing through your nose. When we breathe through our nose, you'll feel the air will come in a little cooler, and when it comes out, it'll be a little bit warmer. So bring your attention to your actual nostrils and feel that air a little cooler on the inhale and a little warmer on the exhale. Now that your hands are on your ribs and you're breathing through your nose, let's breathe in and expand the ribs outward. So when you inhale, your ribs should expand like you're blowing up a balloon. And then when you exhale, the ribs should contract in. They should draw in towards the midline. Repeat that good 360-degree breath where you feel expansion on your inhale, and then you feel a drawing in of the ribs towards your midline on the exhale. Now think about that breath a little more. When you inhale, it's not just about a belly breath. When you inhale, you should be stretching the pelvic floor, stretching the belly, and stretching the low back. So you get a nice inside out stretch on your inhale. And then on the exhale, you get a little bit of a tightening, a little bit of an exhale. You don't want to overdo it here unless you're doing Pilates or exercising. But for your natural breath, you'll just feel a little bit of a natural pulling in. So you get a stretch and a bit of a strengthening every time you're inhaling and exhaling correctly throughout the day. Now notice if you're holding any tension in the legs, I want you to relax a little bit more. Maybe you need to switch your feet or make a little bit of a movement. That's fine. Go ahead and do that. And let's begin breathing at a nice balanced rate. I'm going to have you inhale for 5 seconds and exhale for 5 seconds. Fully exhale, and we will begin. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, fill the ribs. Expansion on your inhale. And exhale, everything draws in. 2 more breaths like this, and then I want you to try to stay with this breathing rate. A 5-second inhale followed by a 5-second exhale. Very good. One of the best things you can do for your rib mobility is to breathe correctly throughout the day. Instead of inhaling, sucking in and up, which I see a lot of people do, think of that 360-degree breath where you're opening up the ribs on the inhale. You're opening up your belly, your pelvic floor, and your low back. Now let's begin with some movements. Starting with a gentle cat-cow, so I want you to move to all fours. This is going to be extension of the spine, right? And flexion of the spine. It's an inhale through the nose for extension. It's an exhale through the nose for our flexion. Now continue to breathe like that, inhaling and exhaling. You can make your breath a little more powerful here. Some people like to get a stronger breath in their practice, which gets things moving. I'm going to show you what that would look like. It's an inhale. So that's going to move you away from that 5-5 breathing count, but it will stimulate the blood flow a little bit more. Let's do 10 more cat-cows. Wherever you're at is good. You can close your eyes to get into the movement pattern a little bit more. Maybe bring a smile to your face because moving feels good, right? You're doing great, something good for your body. Continue breathing, continue moving. Wherever you're at, start to finish up and come back to a seated position. Place your hands on your knees. We're going to move in circular patterns. So inhale forward and exhale back. Again, this is going to be a little bit quicker than the breath we started with, that 5-5, because we're inhaling forward and exhaling back. Now, if you haven't done a circular movement like this in a long time, your movement might be smaller than mine. I've done this a lot. I like this stretch a lot, so I do it very frequently. I'm able to rock back on my glutes a little bit and then shift forward using a little bit of my shoulders as well. Let's do 3 more in this direction. I like this because it gets things moving, and especially for rib mobility, we're starting to get our middle thoracic, mid-back to move. All right, and the next time you come forward, I want you to switch directions and move in the circular pattern, the opposite direction. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. You're doing great. We just want to even out this side. Think about the mid-back doing a lot of this twisting. Obviously, you're going to be twisting in the hips as well, but allow your upper back to get in there. Let's do 3 more. And check in with yourself today. How are you feeling? What's on your mind? Can you set an intention for your practice? Let's come to stillness. Palms face up. Go back to your 360-degree breath. Now we'll add movement. It's an inhale, reach up and over. Exhale, go to the side. So it's an inhale, lift through center. Exhale, side bend. Beautiful. Inhale. Exhale. And it doesn't matter if you're moving the same direction as me. It's all good. There's no perfect movement here. We are imperfect people, and we move a little imperfect, and that's okay. And we all move a little bit different. Just want it to feel good in your body. Now, after we've done a few of these side bends where we're flowing with our breath, I want you to hold to one side. Now, you might feel good right here. You can close your eyes and think about those ribs, breathing into the ribs, or you might need to touch your rib cage to feel this. But here, I want you to inhale and exhale. Feel the ribs open on your breath. It's an inside out stretch. 2 more. And last one. Bring that smile to your face. You're doing great. Float this other arm, the top arm down. Let's reach up and over to the other side. Take notice how you feel. If you'd like to grab your rib, you can. And now breathe into it. I can feel actually today, for me, this rib is a little tighter, a little more constricting. So I might do 1 or 2 more breaths on this side. You always have that option. That's more of a corrective exercise mentality where we have maybe one side weaker, some muscular imbalances. We might actually work 1 to 2 more reps on that side to open up or strengthen that side a little bit more. Beautiful work. Now go ahead and place your feet in front of you. Shift your hips from side to side. I find if your ribs are tight, your immobility there, you might have immobility in other areas. So let's just use this windshield wiper movement and steady breath to open up those hips for a moment. You're doing so good. Breathing through this. Hopefully this feels good for you today. All right, I'm going to turn to the side so you can see. Fingertips are going to be facing outward. See my fingertips? They're facing outward. Your feet are right in front of you. The motion is almost like a bridge. We're going to go up on the inhale. Feel that stretch in our shoulders. Again, if the ribs are tight, likely your shoulders and hips are, then you could take a break down. So inhale, stretch. Take a couple breaths up here. Feel the shoulders open. And then slowly lower down. So I want you to go at your own breathing rate, just lifting the hips, opening the shoulders. I sometimes move side to side here, shifting my weight side to side. It feels good to open up my shoulders and wrist a little bit at the same time. Then when you're ready, you lower it down, take a break, go back to your 360 breath, and then one more time we'll do this. Opening up those shoulders just a little bit today. Good job. Beautiful work. All right. Moving into a variation of your child's pose. I'm going to bring my elbows up high. So you have to kind of work it out for your own body. And you'll see me bring my big toes touching. Start to bring my elbows down, resting my head here. So again, we're working into a little bit of this opening in the upper body. It'll affect the rib cage. So you're stretching, put a little bit of pressure down into the elbows and feel the stretch in your hips. It should feel very nice. Let's take 3 breaths here. Inhale, expand the ribs. And exhale, everything draws in. Notice where the thoughts are here. Keep breathing. Can you come back to your intention? Are your thoughts getting negative? Are they really positive? Like, just drop in. A part of yoga is, it's a very mindful practice. So this is a great place for you to check in with how you're feeling, what you've been thinking, and maybe create a little bit of change in some of those patterns that are no longer serving you. All right. So now we're going to come up into what we call hero's pose. I'm going to move back so you can see me. From hero's pose, let's stretch our toes. So curl your toes under, sit there for a second. This might be really intense for you if you've never done this stretch. Breathe 360 degrees. You can touch your ribs a couple times, make sure that they're moving. From here, we're going to take a little bit of a upper back stretch. So from hero's pose, you lift your hips and come into camel's pose. Camel's pose, you have a few options here. The first option is to not stretch in the low back, but stretch in the upper back. And all you do is just look up. That's where you're going to be. Breathe into your chest and your ribs. Opening up here with that good breathing pattern. If you want to take this further, then you're going to reach back one hand at a time and grab your ankles or grab your heels. And then we stretch here, inhaling and exhaling. When you come up, just lift your head up nice and gently. Bring your hands to your low back and take a stretch into child's pose. I like to keep my hands down by my side for this stretch. So that's our camel stretch. It's a big back bend, which is going to open up that rib cage. I want you to do one more of those very gently, very slowly. So maybe you're just lifting up and arching back, being gentle with your neck. Maybe you are reaching back and grabbing your ankles and your heels. This is your practice. Maybe you're still in child's pose and you need to stay there. That's totally fine. Wherever you're at, this stretch is very, very beneficial for our body. Back bends are. It's a wonderful stretch to incorporate daily, but you have to ease into it. So if it feels like too much today, that's fine. Baby steps. When you're ready to come out of it, go ahead and come back into that child's pose, or if you're still there, just hang out in child's pose for a couple more breaths. Moving back to our hero's pose, curl your toes under so toes are pressing into the ground. Arms are up at a goalpost positioning. Do not arch in the low back, arch in the upper back. So it's like a baby cat-cow, inhaling and exhaling down. Keep your elbows high and lift it. And let's link our breath with this movement. So inhale, arch, exhale, round. Breathe through your nose. Inhale, arch, exhale, round. Keep doing this motion for 10 breaths. And I'll count it out. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great job. Go ahead and come to a seated position like I am. Bring your fingertips to the front of your shoulders and circle your elbows around. Getting more blood flow in this upper body. I find if your rib cage is tight, that you've probably been in that shallow breathing pattern like I mentioned earlier. And so switch directions. We do want to open up the shoulders to help relieve some of that tension. So if you haven't switched directions, we switch directions in this circular pattern for our upper body. Beautiful. Come to a laying down position. Make sure you can see the camera or the YouTube video. Knees are bent, hips are stacked. Your arm, bottom arm is going to grab for the top of your knees. Then the top arm here is working on opening on the inhale and closing on the exhale. It's an open and a close. Working our T-spine, thoracic spine. This is a rotational movement, a twisting movement. Really good for the body. Don't over twist. Just go to where you feel the stretch. Linking the breath with the movement. That good breathing mechanics matters here. 360 breath. Doing great. 2 more here. And last one. Good. You could just roll over on the other side. I'm going to come up and make sure I'm looking at the camera for you. Okay, however you are right now, just go ahead and take your bottom arm. That grabs for the top of your knees. I don't have a lot of space here. Let me move back. The top arm is forward. I like that. Inhale to open. Exhale to come forward. 360 breathing. You should feel the stretch on your pelvic floor, your low back, your belly, and your ribs on the inhale. It's an opening. You don't have to take a big, heavy breath either. Think about breathing light and breathing less. So slow down your breathing pattern. Back to that 5-5 if you want to. So you can slow down the stretch, and that's totally fine. We want to even out our left and right, so make sure you're doing about the same repetition range. I'm never exact. If you've worked with me for any period of time, you know that. That's okay. Just somewhere around the same amount of repetitions. Let's go for 2 more. Wonderful job. Go ahead and sit yourself up. You're doing wonderful. Your ribs should feel a lot more open. Let's just go ahead and check them with that side body stretch. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, stretch. Inhale, reach up. Excuse me. Exhale, stretch. Okay. And a couple more like this. And then we're going to hold one more time, but I'm going to coach you through a little bit of a different movement. So next time you reach up and over to one side, I want you to almost like rotate your body. So if you saw here, I'm reaching up and over. Now I'm going to rotate my body and bend forward like I'm trying to kiss my knee. Now stay here and breathe. Two more breaths. One more breath. Good job. Back to center. Up and over on the other side. Stretch it first. And then we're rotating the shoulder towards the knee. And then folding forward just a little bit like we're trying to kiss the knee. Relax into the stretch. Think about the inhale, stretching your ribs. So it's an inside out opening here. Using our breath to create that it's not just intra-abdominal pressure, it's inside pressure that you're creating on that inhale. It's a feeling of pressure. Great job. Oh, I hope you feel so much better. This is gentle, hopefully wonderful movements you can incorporate into your daily practice, or try this maybe 2 times a week to get started. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, suggestions. My name is Coach E, Coach Erin. I own a breathing and communication company, so I do mindfulness with corporations. I use yoga and I use breathwork and mindfulness tools to help people communicate. So I love what I get to do, whether it's private one-on-one with clients or it's running a big workshop with a bunch of people. It's so nice to incorporate this mindful movement practice into our daily lives, and it will make you a better mom, a better worker, a better friend, a better parent. I already said that, but it is really a beautiful thing. So if you have any questions about mindfulness, I have a lot of videos on that, or breathing, breath work, go ahead and let me know, and breathe well. Have a great day. Bye.